we care about neurotransmitter? Because the majority of neurons in our nervous system are chemical synapses, right? So what are these chemicals that we call the neurotransmitter? Okay, just tell you guys that what you have is easy. We have about 5 or 6 slides talk about this. And remember, I took a class, a whole semester of it. And the title of this class is called Neurotransmitter. I still have a textbook in my office. That's the they all talk about is different type of neurotransmitter. So let's see what the heck are they. So far, about 50, but I think we have more right now. Okay, I think about 55. But for the test purposes, there are 50 different chemicals have been isolated and classified as a type of neurotransmitter. Well, how do you classify them? Can you notice that we have a common theme here? For anything that we have numerous structure, we always use 2 criteria. We look at the structure difference, we classify them. Or you look at the function differences, you classify them. You see that in the joint, you see that in the neuron, right? Well, you will see that in the neurotransmitter. Based on the chemical composition, they can be classified differently. Based on the function, they can be classified differently. And here we go. These are the major group of the neurotransmitter that we talk about. Acetylcholine. I bet you get so used to that name already, right? Acetylcholine by itself is the entire class of the neurotransmitter. By itself. And the reason for that. The second one is called biogenic amine. Why do you call them that? In the chemical structure, if the chemical structure includes the nitrogen and 2 hydrogen in it, we call it amine group. This chemical belongs to the biogenic amine. Amino acid. You heard that before. How many amino acids do we have in our body? 20. Some of them can function as a neurotransmitter. Okay? Peptide. Small protein. Some small protein can function as a neurotransmitter. The last group is the one that's very fuzzy because they still yes or no, but right now they're very consensus. Why? Look at that. I know you have seen that word before. Arlington triphotyl. What's the P stand for? I don't know. POC? Arlington triphotyl. I can make it up. What's the ATP stand for? What is the ATP famous for? Energy. Right? We talked about that chapter 201, I remember. ATP. Right? That's why when they find out the evidence that shows ATP function at the neurotransmitter, the neuroscientists say, it can't be. How can you be an energy molecule and become a neurotransmitter? How does it work? Well, the evidence strongly keep coming up. Right now, they're very consensus that ATP may function as a neurotransmitter. All right. Nitric oxide is another chemical. Okay, nitric oxide is a gas, so they appear real quick and they disappear real quick. You learn how to work. And this is the most troubling classification right there. CO, not for Colorado. CO is carbon monoxide. Okay. This is where if you smoke, it clearly labeled on the side of the pack of cigarettes where it say this product contains carbon monoxide. It is a poison. It is one of the effects that you should not smoke. And now I'm telling you guys that it may function as a neurotransmitter. What's a bunch of crock? That's it, right? A bunch of crock? I don't know what crock means. Let's just say it. Can you see why they are later? Because it doesn't make sense to them, right? And still now, it doesn't make sense. But the evidence is there. So are you okay with the 5 classification? Acetylcholine, biogenic amine, amino acid, peptide, and we call them the normal messenger. Normal means that they're everywhere. And they're still learning how acidic they work. We start with the acetylcholine. Why acetylcholine by itself make up the entire class? There are 2 reasons for that. It is the first neurotransmitter that has been isolated. It's the first one. Secondly, it is the one that we are most understood. We know much more about acetylcholine than we know about carbon monoxide. Much, much more. And that's the reason why we put them into a single class by itself. Where in the body that you see acetylcholine? Remember you learned some already. The neuromuscular junction. It mediates the motor neuron and the skeletal muscle. It released by exocytosis. We learned that. The major enzyme that remove this neurotransmitter, we learned about the interaction, acetylcholinesterase. Okay? Where the body found them? Skeletal muscle we know already. We also, the majority learned that the majority of the neuron in the autonomous system, they also use acetylcholine as well. And you learn later in the AP2. It is a neurotransmitter that actually slow. Oh, by the way, remember the experiment I showed you guys? We call it Lewis experiment that indicated we had the chemical synapses. Remember that? He removed the front heart still beating with the vagus still attached, and he stimulated the vagus nerve, the heart slow down, and he take the juice from that container and put that juice on the second heart slow down. Okay, at that time, Lewis just proved that whatever that is that caused the second heart slow down, it's a chemical. That's all he know. He did not know what that chemical is and how to find them. Guess what they find later? What is a chemical that slow down your heart, that induce the second heart slow down? Acetylcholine. So it also found in your heart as well, and many things in your brain as well.